Oh, how's that look? It looks pretty good. Maybe turn it a little that way. Do a little of this. Sit back. Relax. Let my fire do most of the work. Hello, Julie Kirkland. Julie Kirkland. Wonder if you're any relation to the Kirkland brand of products at Costco. No matter what Kirkland does, they do a pretty good job over there at Costco. Whether it's golf balls, I've heard their whiskey's good. I've heard Ugg slippers are good. I know their diapers are good. I don't know who this Kirkland guy is, but he's got it figured out. Hello, Anthony James Lewis. Julie Kirkland says no. She's not heir to the Kirkland fortune. Hello, RJ. Have I ever had the pre-made meals by Kirkland? No. Well, I don't know. I ate what did I eat? A shepherd's pie. By the way, my wife went out to Costco the other day, and she goes, is there anything that you consider a must-buy for me today when I go to Costco? And without hesitation, I said, pumpkin pie. We'd had a pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving from there. It's huge. It's amazing. And I like to smear it up in as much whipped cream as a nice thick coating of whipped cream on top. So anyway, and we had a pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving from there. And I think we had one after the New Year's. So I'm figuring, hey, I'm hungry. For anybody that has watched my show before, you probably know I'm kind of doing my version of an intermittent fasting where I get to eat whatever the heck I want about twice a day. And what I wanted on this day was one of those Mamba gigantic pumpkin pies smothered with Cool Whip frosting or whipped cream. And she came back. I was unloading the groceries from the car as I intended to be. In every package, I'm looking for some massive Frisbee-shaped thing. Lo and behold, I got to the end and there was no pumpkin pie in the bags. And I go, hey, it's a little something for the effort. And she gave me some line of BS about it being out of season and they didn't have pumpkin pie. I'm not totally sure I believe her and that she didn't forget to look, although she says it's out of season. And given we are into February, it is possible that they're no longer stocking the shelves with pumpkin pies. But they should be. And good morning, or no, good afternoon to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is, we'll just call it Coffee with Ken today. This is a little show I've been doing for quite some time. It's a show I've been doing quickly creeping up. This is me creeping. I don't know why it's me creeping. One foot in front of the other. Kind of look like a seal. Throw me a fish. Watch me do tricks with the ball. Balance the ball on my nose. If you give me a fish, I'll do anything for a fish. But anyway, yeah, it's a show that I've been doing for a while. It'll be 5 years ago in June. It is a show that I started when I was living in a dark apartment. And I was struggling with a lot of things. And maybe I'm still struggling with those same things. But I'm learning to accept those things a little bit better as part of who I am. And I'm learning that I'm okay and that life's okay and that despite the clouds that have just come over the sky and kind of dimmed the lighting for this show, that life's going to be okay or the day's going to be okay and I'm going to be okay and you're going to be okay and that everything's happening for a reason and for some reason that God hasn't explained to me that a slightly dim live Coffee with Ken is preferred today. But anyway, for those that have been watching a while, and I see some names out there that have been watching a while. Oh, first of all, before I get into what this show's also about, and maybe I'll get right into it. For those that have been watching a while, the show isn't just about me talking and reflecting on life and the ups and downs we have and the challenges that I face. For those that have been watching a while, and by the way, I thought I'd go on live outside today as I did a week ago on this day. I think it was February 1st that I was live sitting outside. The weather might even be warmer today, but it's kind of windy. And for a guy that's done more than his share of lives on location, uh, when you get a big wind, the wind comes across the speakers in the phone and it makes a lot of distracting noise. And I know my viewers not only want, not only desire, but demand high quality audio from my live videos. So I thought I better go live for you inside. But anyway, as I was saying, and here I am with my fireplace. With my fireplace. I hope you appreciate my fireplace. Maybe I better turn on a little crackle. Oh, that's just nice. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it at all, but I turned on the little crackle. I like more than a visual effect because, Holly, come here. My dog Holly started looking outside and always makes me a little nervous. I just laid my two little babies down to sleep. When Holly looks outside, oftentimes she'll be spying a dog that's walking down the street. She wants to bark at, or maybe a squirrel. And let me tell you, we live on to call it a busy road would be totally incorrect, but it's a road with, a moderate amount of neighborhood traffic, and we live on a corner lot. So we get people walking on by with their dogs on a nice day like this, I don't know, every 5 or 10 minutes. And to have my dog, if she's not asleep, barking in a full volume, full-throated, loud sort of way, moments after I laid my babies down for their nap, is not pleasing. Speak of the devil. Speak of the dog being walked across the way. I don't know how much English Holly can understand, but fortunately she just went down and laid behind my chair and hopefully has her eyes shut and didn't notice that one. But anyway, for those who have been watching a while, and again, I see some names that I recognize. You guys know it is a not just a show about me talking and sharing stories and laying my kids down to sleep. It's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I just brewed up a pot, and I'm excited to have my very first sip from this pot of coffee. And my hope is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you got a beverage in your hand, a beverage of choice, be it tea, be it coffee, be it water, maybe even a beer if you're that inclined. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, as Jimmy Buffett used to say. But and I'm excited to have my first sip. And again, I hope you have a beverage as well. Cheers to us. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's especially warm this morning, even though it's not this morning, this afternoon. I did all I could to keep it hot. I used my carafe, and before pouring from my pot into the carafe, I put some hot water in the carafe because I think cool temperatures on the inside can very much affect the temperature of the liquid contained. And I did my famous trick of microwaving up a little water and swishing it around my glass before pouring my cup, so my cup would be nice and warm. And I like my coffee hot. And again, I do a lot of talking on this show. And there's times I can do more talking than drinking, and my coffee can end up kind of cool. And I don't like that. Christian asks, you're not working at Target anymore. What are you doing now? I am a stay-at-home dad, 4 nights or 4 days a week, 7 days a week. My wife took a job about 3 months ago, a job she's doing great at, she's really excited about, and is a perfect position for her. And I'm staying at home with our two little ones and tending to the house as best I can and taking care of a busy household filled with 5 kids, a dog, 2 cats, and my I have two little ones, as you know. I also have two older ones and then 3 stepkids. But the two little ones are 2.5 and one, we'll call that. They're going to be 3 and 1.5 soon. But my older one, the 2.5-year-old, has Down syndrome. And I live in Illinois. And I don't want to get political on this, but one thing Illinois does is they throw a lot of money at kids with special needs. And they have therapists come into our house, almost since birth. Speech therapist, occupational therapist, physical therapist, one other therapist that I can't think of their subcategory of therapy right now. But anyway, Augie had 2 appointments this morning, and he had one at 10 o'clock and one at about 11:15. And Augie's my older one, and he's my little nugget of love, and we squeezed in a lunch before that time. Um, we pushed his nap appointment. I usually lay him down for his their nap at about 11:30, maybe 11:45. We pushed it all the way back to 12:15 today. And again, he's had two therapy appointments, which tend to tire him out a whole lot. One was physical, and one was a speech therapist today. And they're priming him and getting him ready for when he's 3. He turns 3 on April 30th. To go to preschool. And I don't know. We're going to put him on a bus, send him off to school, and he's going to go to preschool. And I don't think Dad is ready for him to go off to preschool just yet. Apparently, I'm not alone. My wife sent me a picture of another child with Down syndrome who just turned 3, and the mother posted it on some social media platform and said, "Hey, I don't think my baby's ready." And hey, I don't think my baby's ready, and I know he's going to do great, and I know it's going to be good for him. But again, he's just barely, he's walking and having fun and socializing, but he can't talk yet, and he is just my little nugget of love. And the thought of him getting on a bus, and he might be excited. He's probably going to love it. He's been in daycare at my church, my local church that I go to. And loves that, loves seeing other kids and playing with new toys, and I don't know, he's getting to strut his stuff and have all the women give him attention because he's really adorable. But I don't know if his dad's ready to send him off. But anyway, so we're just finishing up the therapy session of his education. And again, he had 2 appointments this morning, and hopefully he's exhausted, and hopefully he gets a really good nap so Dad gets to drink some coffee and talk to you guys for a little bit. Thank you, Brooklyn Dave. Thank you for joining, Olivia and Paul. I so appreciate that. I think Christian asked, what am I doing? Staying at home, and I'm an aspiring content creator. I have been doing this show for 4.5 years, and I share about a lot of topics about life, maybe about Down syndrome, about weather, about dogs, about finances, about relationships, fatherhood, mental health. I struggled with anxiety a lot of my life, and I treated that by using alcohol and drugs, and till about 2.5 years ago. And I stopped doing that, and I've been kind of on a little adventure of my own for the last 4.5 years, trying to get a little better and work on myself and feel a little bit better and sleep a little bit better and be a little bit healthier and have better relationships and have a just a more content, happy, everyday feeling. And this show is kind of my journey on that path. And I don't have anything figured out, but I'm willing to try a bunch of different things and tinker with the equation, if you will, and see what works. And I, for some reason, decided to share my tinkering here on live video. So that's what this is about, and that's what I'm doing. Turbo Stallion said, "Good afternoon, Bruce." I don't know how Bruce is, but I'm proud of you. You got this. I do got this, Brooklyn Dave. I just don't know what choice I have. I don't know what choice I have. The sobriety's been easy, and I hate to say that because I was an everyday drinker and probably drank on average 8 beers a day for 35 years of my life. I'm a 55-year-old guy who has had various highs and lows career-wise, but always had in the back of his mind a real active mind and some dark thoughts and some sad thoughts. And I think the way I got through that every day was when I was done with work, or even sometimes when I wasn't done with work, going out for lunch and starting drinking early, and I don't know, usually drink until I fell asleep at night. And as I talked about it in a video today, that's fun. That works until it doesn't work. And it stopped working for me about 2.5 years ago. I mean, it stopped working for me probably about 10 years ago, but I kept doing it another 6, 7, 8 years, and drinking and smoking pot and just trying to get through my day as best I could, but not happy with who I was and not feeling about the direction good about the direction I was going, and honestly kind of in a downward spiral of depression. And 4.5 years ago, or coming up on 5 years ago now, again, I was living in a dark apartment, and I woke up from a nap or from a sleep or something like that, and I heard my inner voice saying mean things to me. And I realized that's probably been a recurring theme of mine over my whole life, a real negative inner voice. And I think, doing this show has taught me that a lot of people struggle with that. And I think we can be meaner to ourselves than we ever would be to somebody else, and say the meanest of things, and I don't know, just kind of feel crappy. And I realized I didn't want to feel crappy anymore, and I needed to fix it. So now I gave up beer, and I still drink a lot of coffee. So let's have a little more coffee. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Jennifer Whiting. Hello, Lance Cavett. How are you? Hello, Tara. Tara Jacobs. Tara Jacobs, where have you been? Mark Taylor, Brooklyn Dave says, "You're not alone. Many people are going through alcoholism too. You saved yourself." I think I did save myself. And I never called myself an alcoholic. And I think I was fortunate not to be physically addicted. I think it was an extremely bad habit and a 35-year-old rut that I fell into. Again, a 35-year-old rut that I had fallen into, where I just do it every day. And it's so easy to pick up good habits and bad habits, and you better be aware of what you make a habit, because the habits become the person. And if you're somebody that, I don't know, drinks beer or smokes pot every day, honestly, I hate to judge, but there's probably a problem. I know there was with me. And again, I stopped doing it about 2.5 years ago. I don't think, physically addicted to either. And I was able to walk away, I guess, from the stories I've heard, fairly fortunately. No, great cravings to do it again. It was just a decision I made one day. I go, I've had enough. This sucks. I'm tired of waking up feeling crappy, and let's see what I can do. Again, I talked about it before. I think all those years I spent sitting on the couch drinking and smoking pot, I decided I wasn't going to live very long, and I was going to probably die in 10 years of a failed liver or something like that. And I don't know, for some reason I got a little fight in me, and wanted to see what I could do with the rest of my life. Again, I'm 55 years old, and time goes fast. Time goes fast. My mother passed about 5 years ago, But I remember her 40th birthday fairly clearly. I certainly remember her 50th birthday and, her 70th and 80th birthday. And I'm just saying, time goes fast. And before I know it, I know I'm going to be 65 and then 75. And yeah. So I want to see what I can accomplish. And part of what I hopefully can accomplish is doing something of value, touching somebody out there that maybe drinks too much or has a bad self-image or, hey there, Janie, how are you? Is struggling in some way. I think a lot of people, and I've said this before, I think a lot of people post, they go to Facebook and they're on vacation and they post pictures of them and their husband or wife with the sunset behind them, drinking a margarita. And then you and I and all our friends hop on Facebook and see this couple in this romantic place drinking a margarita with the sunset behind them and the waves crashing. And I don't know, kind of makes us jealous or makes us envious or makes us long to be somewhere else. And I realized life's not about being on a beach drinking a margarita with the sunset behind you. It's every day. It's every day. And it's changing diapers in my case. It's having therapy appointments. It's going live on this. It's walking my dog. It's reaching out to friends. It's staying in touch. It's putting one foot in front of the other. And none of that sounds very glorious, I'm sure. But sometimes life's not glorious. And I think when you strive for life to be glorious all the time, or life to even to be awesome all the time, I think that's when you have a tendency to open up your life to maybe excessive stuff that's not good for you, like drugs and alcohol. And I know I did. I thought every day I should be dancing on a table wearing a lampshade on my head or what have you. And that was fun for a little bit. But really, I look back on a lot of the times, even way back to college. I was in a fraternity, and I remember we used to go to bars basically every night. And I don't know, wouldn't be happy there, and I'd run home from the bar, and my friends would all go, "Hey, where'd Ken go? Where'd Ken go? Oh, he bolted again." But I was just trying to, I don't know, soothe the unhappiness that was inside. And yeah, that's not a way to be. Brooklyn Dave says, stay busy and you'll be okay. Yeah, Brooklyn Dave, I have been busy. I'll tell you what, I'm crazy busy just around the house, cleaning up after taking care of the house, taking care of a dog, taking care of two little babies, trying to keep the house going and everything moving forward in a home of 5 kids and 2 cats and a dog and a million people, not a million people, but 7 people going in 7 different directions. And Janie Galloway said, stay healthy, your kids need you. I think I'm probably healthier than I've been in a long, long time. I work out 2 or 3 times a week. I walk my dog, twice a day. I think my diet is corrected. I think I've lost about 7-8 pounds from where I was even 3 or 4 weeks ago. And not that weight was ever a massive concern of mine. But about 6 months ago, I joined a gym, and I weighed 219, I think, that day. And after 5.5 or almost 5, let's call it 5 months of working out, I was still the same weight. And I still had a few pounds of fat around my tummy that I didn't want. And I realized, and I knew it before, that you don't drop weight really from working out. Yeah, it might help a little bit. But if you want to get serious about losing some weight, you got to look at what you eat. And I realized 3 or 4 weeks ago on Monday that anytime I was hungry, I immediately filled the void and ate some food. And 4 weeks ago, I felt the pangs of hunger and realized that hunger, if you look at it right, can be good. And if you're hungry, you're probably burning, honestly, your tummy's probably empty, but your body's still looking for energy. And the way the body finds it is goes after the fat you're not using and you don't need. And again, I never had a big weight problem. I'm 6'2". I was 220 pounds. But I just know I'd feel better about myself weighing 205, maybe 208, something like that. So that's my target weight, and I'll probably hit that in 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to guess. And I'm about halfway there right now. Jay Bowl says, would I encourage my kids to be in sororities based on your experience in a frat? I certainly wouldn't encourage them, nor would I discourage them. I have my oldest daughter will be 18 at the end of April. And I think she's selected the college she's going to. She hasn't officially made any statement. I don't think she wants to draw any undue attention to her. Hey, Sally, thank you so much for following the Live Creator. I so appreciate when people follow along in my little story. I post a lot of videos. I go live, most days, and do the best I can to make it worthwhile for you. But again, back to my oldest, who's 18, is going to be headed off to college next fall. I would neither encourage nor discourage her to be in a sorority. I certainly don't have any negative things to say. I would say I feel very indifferent whether she does or does not join. I know her mother was not in a sorority and would probably discourage her. But, she's an independent young lady and strong-willed and a determined young lady who's, growing up to be a beautiful, responsible, smart, funny, caring, talented woman. And I'm excited to see what she can do in college and in life and going forward. And really proud of her. So let's have a little more coffee. Different world nowadays. Yeah, it's a very different world, which is probably good. Again, I went to college. I went to the University of Illinois, and I was in school from 86 to 1990. And at the time, I think that's when the change really started happening. Before then, it was really Katie bar the door and anything went. Because my first couple of years in the house, anything did go. And we could have as big a parties and serve as much alcohol, and there was little to no restrictions whatsoever. But a lot of the Greek system around the country started getting some bad press, and there were some bad things that happened in some houses. And the world's changed. And some of it for the good and some of it not so good. But, life and the world and, is change, I guess. And it's probably going to keep changing whether I want it to or not. And what I'm trying to do is roll with the change as best I can. And I was talking to a buddy the other day. I'm doing a lot of self-improvement, or trying to do a lot of self-improvement. It sounds kind of vain to say, but what the heck? I've been called vain before. Work on myself in a lot of different ways. And I pray more, and I meditate more, and I get better sleep, and I stop drinking, and I work out, and I don't know, trying to learn and get a little better every day. But even if you're getting better, the world's still going to be the same, and life's still going to have its issues, and the people in your circle are probably still going to be the people in your circle, and whoever's in office at president's still going to be the same way. And the world doesn't change, but the more you work on yourself, the more you change, and the more you're better to deal with the ups and downs that come our way. And for me, probably most importantly, be proud of the changes you've made. Be proud of the changes you made. I remember I was talking to a buddy on the couch it sounds like at a therapy session, but he came over and we were having some coffee a month or so ago, and I'm going, and I forget what we were even talking about me accomplishing, but I told him, I know I can get it done because I stopped drinking alcohol and smoking pot. And it just gives me the confidence to know I can almost do anything. Again, I was planning to probably just do that till I drop dead one day. And, but I walked away from that. And if I can walk away from that amazingly long-term and bad habit, I think I could probably get anything accomplished I want. So sometimes it's hard to figure out what you want. and I struggle with it as well. I know for me, spending time with my babies, have a first wife and got divorced and had the biggest regret of my life was not being an everyday father for my two older ones. Yeah, I was their father, but I wasn't there waking them up every day and tucking them in at bed to bed every night. And that was one of my biggest regrets. And it's even become harder as they become young ladies and get into their teens and go into junior high and high school because, they're busy and they got activities and they got friends and, you know, hanging with dad isn't, their number one priority. Dad's probably number 12 or something like that. And if you're only priority number 12, that puts you pretty far down the list. So anyway, that was a big regret in my life. And I didn't want to have it again with my two little ones and with my two little ones. And so now I'm staying at home with my kids, and sometimes it can be boring, to be honest with you, and sometimes it can be frustrating, and sometimes it can be repetitive, and sometimes I get sick of hearing the Elmo song on TV or having one of my kids want to grab my phone or knock over my water or what have you. But I think in a few years, I think in a few months, when Augie goes off to school, I'm going to look back on these months as really fun times when I got to change his diaper and I got to fix his baba before I put him down to bed. And I got to tell him I loved him as I laid him in his bed and covered him up in his blankies. And I don't want to get all watery-eyed on you. I've been thinking about it a lot. And again, I've had some fairly decently significant careers in my life. And I think as a man, and maybe it's just, I mean, that's my experience because I'm a man. Maybe women have it too, or maybe they have different experiences. But we're trained to go into a career, be super successful, make a ton of money. And I just don't think when on my gravestone, it's going to mention what I did for a living at all, or how much money I had in the bank or didn't have in the bank, or what have you. I don't think that's what we're remembered by, or at least hopefully won't be what I'm remembered by. A guy that was a stockbroker for 10 years and, you know, realtor for 17 years, and I don't know, even a content creator. But hopefully this does make a difference. I think that it does. And again, I'm hoping somebody out there can connect or relate with some of the stories that I share. So, hey, Sally, thank you for saying that. I'm glad you found me as well. I appreciate, again, you subscribing to my page. I've been on TikTok just over 2 years, and my page grows a little bit every day. I try and go live most days. I post a bunch of videos. I go back and edit these lives and cut them up into shorts and reels and TikToks and spread them all over social media because I'd like my audience to grow, honestly. It probably feels good for my ego and makes me feel, and this is going to be silly, like what I'm doing matters because I know what I'm doing matters. And it's, it matters to me and it matters to Sally. And apparently it matters to Brooklyn Dave, who's hopping on and saying some nice things as well. And I don't know. As long as you know what you're doing matters. And like I said, tucking my babies into bed for their nap or at night, I know that matters. And how much money I made as a stockbroker, looking back doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot. So, a little more coffee. But anyway, it's about 10 to 1. I don't know what I have for you today, but I do appreciate you joining me and for commenting. I used to go live at 8 o'clock every day, and it was nice. I built up a pretty nice audience of regulars that would hop on and keep the questions going. Now, 4 days a week, I go live at about noon, and I generally go live around 11 or 12 most days, whether it's right after a workout or right after I put my kids down for a nap. I know it always feels good for me when I'm able to hop on live and share some thoughts and share some experiences and share a cup of coffee and a little bit about my day. And And are we, Lisa Smith, how observant of you. I was trying to sign off, Lisa Smith. Lisa Smith asks if we're putting new pulls on that furniture behind you. Great question, and the answer is no. The reason we removed, and when I say we, it wasn't me, it was my wife, removed all the hardware from that furniture was my little babies would open up the drawers and use the lower drawers as a ladder to climb up to the higher drawers and pull things out and knock up cups of coffee or cups of water, wreak havoc on whatever they could. So we removed all the whatever hardware from the drawers, so the so the little ones can't climb up on the furniture and knock off the coffee. So now they use the chair and that chair and do whatever they can to see what trouble they can get into on whatever. And again, they're two beautiful little babies, but they're also whirling dervishes that can, I don't know, cause a whole lot of trouble pretty quickly if I turn my back. And yeah, so it feels good to have them sleep in, and it feels good to have gone live with you today on this Thursday. And sky's kind of getting darker. We're supposed to get a little rain today, but it was beautiful, nice weather out today. I took my dog Holly and my daughter Eve for a nice long walk while Augie was in a therapy appointment today. And it felt so good getting out in some sunshine and getting out in the fresh air and just going for a nice walk. And feels good. I hope you're feeling good as well. And I hope your week's going great. And I hope your Thursday's going great. And I hope you're feeling good. I want to thank you so much for joining me and following along in my little adventure. I appreciate you. Again, it's Thursday afternoon. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you are loving yourself. I hope you are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.